So it turns out that the worm tower bed was our best bed last year. It had the right pH level, it provided the right nutrients for the NPKs, and so we decided that we're going to incorporate those with the other two beds. And we're going to show you how to do a simple DIY in-ground worm farm, and we're going to start right now. What's going on, YouTube Gardener? It's your boy Sydney from the Naked Garden channel. Hopefully after watching this video you'll learn how to do a simple DIY in the ground worm farm that you can put in your raised beds or in your ground period. Now the reason why we want to do this, like I said before, we did simple 4 beds where we did a worm tower bed, a regular bed, a compost bed, and a hugelkultur bed. We did a video where we tested out the pH level on both of these and also tested out the nutrients, and it wound up being that the worm tower bed had the right perfect pH balance for our plants to grow into, and also had a good balance of NPK nutrients to provide nutrients to the plants that help them thrive. That bed was the most productive, give the most peppers, lettuces, and all that out of that one bed. So we're going to put this in all of the beds. Now for this, all you're going to need is a simple 5-gallon bucket, or you can use any type of bucket that you would like to use. Now if you're using any plastic or rubber to grow your food products or anything of that nature, you want to make sure that you have the right coating for your containers. As we can see right here, this is a code a 2 level, which basically means it's a food grade available. I believe either it's a 5 or a 4. We'll put the code above to show you which one that you don't want to use for any type of food. What we need to do is we need to dig out the bed here, and then once we have dug it out, we're going to be drilling some holes in here so that the worms can go in and out of it. And then once we do that, we'll come back and show you how we're going to fill this up to invite the worms to start eating and feeding and breaking down the materials that's going to be in this bucket. All right, so let's get growing. Alright, so we got the holes dug out. Now, we did some markings on here. There's no rhyme or reasons why if you have to have them in symmetrical or anything. That's something that we prefer, or I prefer, I should say. And I just did them, I just lined it out. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a 5/8 mortise bit. You can use a regular drill bit. You want to use anywhere from at least a 1/2 inch and above, so that way you can have the worms be able to go through here freely. And so we're going to just alternate. And it's going to kind of look similar to like this. You could do every hole in here. The more holes you have, the more access that you have to get the worms to go in and out. For me, for the aesthetics side, we're just going to do, I think, every other hole like that. We'll put these into the raised beds, and then we'll show you how to fill them and what not to fill them with. All right, so we're gonna finish drilling these. We got the bucket into the ground. We backfilled it a little bit, and put some compost at the bottom of it before we put it in there. And we add some holes at the bottom of the bucket, so that way if any liquids or stuff be able to go down into this bucket, it'll be able to seep into the bed and start feeding out the beds through there, and also give us the worms an extra entrance to get into the worm bucket. So we're going to finish backfilling, making sure we cover up the holes like that. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of more compost into here, and we're going to slightly fill it up, maybe about 2 inches worth. That's about good. And then we're going to add some of these leaves. This is going to help break down and help also feed the worms. And then we're going to take some of these eggshells and crush them up, and this gives the grit that the earthworms need, or whatever worms that comes out into here. Hopefully they're composting worms. Might want to use your gloves, or you could use a grinder or food processor, coffee grinder, something like that. You want to get as much surface as possible. We'll probably do half of these in this one. There. We'll add some shredded paper, probably about that much, and then we'll add some more compost, and as y'all know, we're not vegans, but we do a lot of plant-based eating. So what we do is our scraps that we have, we'll put them in the freezer. If our tabletop compost bin is too much, we'll put that, once it gets filled up, we'll put it in the freezer. So we have a lot of these, so we're just gonna put that in here. And once it starts defrosting and breaking down, it's gonna add the moisture that it needs to be in there. You could go to your local coffee shop. We went to Starbucks for ours. Get some used coffee grounds. This is another added grit that you can use for the worms. And Won't use the plastic. You can keep some of the paper in there. I got labels on it. That's that. And then we'll add some more compost just to top it off with. And just kind of go from there. And what this will do is, now that we have this, it's going to be a lot easier to access. We'll have a lid on here to keep any rodents off of trying to get in here. But all we have to do now is just come out here, put our food waste in there, put a little bit more compost or dirt, peat moss, whatever you need to be, and just let it go from there. And the worms are going to be able to go in and out. They'll go in there, take the food, come out, poop throughout the beds to add some nutrition. While they're moving around through here, it helps aerate the soil as well, so that way the roots will have a better way of finding oxygen, allow the plants to help attain the nutrients into the soil. So we're going to go jump off into the other bed, and after that we'll wrap it up from there. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. We'll go over here and show you how it looks with every material that we add into the bucket. So we covered this up with some compost just to make sure we got all the holes filled out through here. And like I said, it's going to be an easy way to help get rid of some of our food waste. Now, we showed you what to add in here. And then some of the things that you don't want to add in here is like meats and dairy products and stuff like that. Really, you want to limit your citrus use for these. From what we were told, that composting worms don't like citrus type stuff. The used coffee grounds in here is going to help bring down the pH balance of the soil once it breaks down, and also is going to help provide the grit for the worms to be able to process some of the food waste in here. To help kind of speed up the process, if you want, you can add some composting worms in here. Depending on if you have compost worms or worms already in your beds. When we were digging up, we saw a few worms already, so we know we have some worms here, so we're okay with that. So if you like these type of DIY projects, we'll put a playlist right above here to show you other DIY projects that you can use in the garden area. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're still new to the channel, you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss an upload. Until the next video, let's grow together.